Hey! What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome back
to another episode of
Talkin'
Shit.
Come on, yeah. And we're here.
With your host, Amanda.
Oh, yeah. And I'm Prodigy Que.
And we got Teddy right here.
Mm-hmm. And we're ready to bring another great episode to you all another week. I hope you all tuned in last week to our holidays episode. We talked about some holidays you may have known, as well as some that you probably didn't know that had happened or had happened. Again, from last episode. Again, I hope everybody had a great what is it? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Holidays?
Yes, what particular Hanukkah. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yes, I hope you happy belated.
So you
I
had
hope you had a great Hanukkah.
As well. This week we be talking about
holiday traditions. So we're going to talk about our family traditions. We're also going to talk about traditions all around the world. Maybe some things you haven't heard of, because I didn't hear of them until I researched for it.
Right.
Some
things are crazy little traditions, I guess not crazy, to some, but definitely, different in a way we may be used to, of course, here in the States, compared to maybe abroad.
We were going to start with one tradition, but I'm carrying it on for the both of us, because I'm drinking hot chocolate. But Q finished his hot chocolate.
It was so good. It didn't last.
I was like, "Where's your hot chocolate? Are we going to drink it?" It's like,
I got halfway through it. I was like, it's not going to make it to the episode. But it was very delicious. So for me, definitely grab you a cup. Pause this, grab you a cup, and curl up with us and listen to the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
You can feel like you're a part of.
And comment. Do you do hot chocolate with marshmallows or no?
Absolutely.
And
yes.
Do you eat your hot chocolate? Because
and she showed me her whole technique. It's a
whole technique. You have to dip the powder so you don't do like a cinnamon challenge and cough it up. So you have to dip it enough that you don't dip all of it and it falls into it. So you gotta have a little bit of powder, a little bit of wet powder, and then I like it with the crunch of the marshmallows. But apparently there's some lard in there. Also, happy belated National Lard Day. We forgot to mention that holiday.
Definitely can't forget about National Lard Day.
Yeah. Sorry, vegans listening, but I'll celebrate that holiday. Sorry.
Come on,
but if you don't know, marshmallows are not usually vegan. So
right.
Fun fact.
Fun fact for sure. If you've been eating marshmallows and you didn't know.
They probably got some pig fat in them.
For sure. Absolutely. So.
So let's go ahead and get it started. So the first tradition we're going to be talking about comes from Japan. So it's the Japanese tradition to eat a lot of chicken for Christmas dinner. They don't do the Christmas turkey. They do Christmas chicken.
Yes.
So it's kind of become a tradition to go to KFC on Christmas Day.
Which I think is very interesting. Like I said, we have turkeys and trying to give away turkeys, and they're probably doing KFC giveaways. It's crazy.
Yeah, no. Go ahead and tell them that part.
It says, KFC Japanese outlets wear Santa gear.
Colonel
Sanders.
The Colonel Sanders statue outside of the KFCs in Japan wear Santa gear.
That's so funny. I love that.
And there's a picture we're looking at right now, so go ahead and look at it. Wanderlust is where we're getting this information from. If you want to sponsor us, Wanderlust, let us know. Because demand has gone up so much in Japan specifically, you need to order your Christmas family bucket in advance and have it delivered. I'll read. You take care of Teddy.
I got it.
Okay. If you were actually watching the video, you got a special performance.
He started talking about KFC. He was ready.
Uh-huh.
Where that? And KFC, you can sponsor us too. I love it.
Oh, and some people around the holidays, they like a lot of these are kind of like Halloween and Christmas mixed, which I'm like,
right.
I want to participate in that. I love Halloween; it's my favorite holiday.
Yes.
So to mix it with Christmas is so fun.
Right.
That's not how they think about it, but that's how I think about it. So in Norway, hide your broom, hide your wife, hide your kids, because the witches are taking everybody out here. No, but Norwegians believe that Christmas Eve coincides with the arrival of evil spirits and witches. And so Norwegian households hide all their brooms before they go to sleep on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
It says, after all, nothing spoils Christmas quicker than finding your broom in broken pieces at the foot of a tree, trashed by some joy-riding witch.
Right, because who was
my
that?
God.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
I love it.
Y'all didn't have the brooms. Make sure you go get them.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, if I feel like I would have replaced it, but for the gag, like if they forgot to hide their broom, I would sneak in the middle of the night. Not like in a stranger's home. If it was in my home, let me clarify. If I was like a kid, my mom forgot to hide the broom, then I would definitely break it in a million pieces and see if she thought it was a witch. And then I buy another broom. Don't worry. But I think that would be funny, to be honest.
That would be funny.
So, and that's all in fun and games. That's not me making fun of this tradition because I think it's cool. So, in the week leading up to Christmas, Venezuelans attend a daily church service called Misa de Aguinaldo. I think I said that right. Early morning mass. So, it is customary to travel to church service on roller skates. That sounds so fun. I might go to church more often if I could arrive on roller skates and not be the only one.
Is that everybody though? I'm just trying to see Paw and them on the roller skates headed to service. Okay, so it says that it's so widespread in its practice that many roads in the capital of Venezuela are closed until 8 a.m. to provide Christmas worshipers with safe passage. Because they go to the early morning mass. Okay, I was like, ask some questions.
Yeah. It's an early mass.
I was like, 8 in the morning, like what?
And it's like, the mass is it's a Catholic. Mass is a Catholic thing. If you don't know, mass it's just your church service, but that's what we call it, is mass. Okay. I say we. I'm still I'm Catholic-esque, but I grew up Catholic, so. Okay, so in Austria, this one is so cool and terrifying. So facing your Christmas demons.
What is that?
So in Austria, Saint Nicholas has an evil counterpart called Krampus. You might have seen the movie that came out a few years ago, but he's the bad cop to Saint Nick's good cop. Like he's a demon-esque creature with one task: to punish children before Christmas. And I actually listened to an episode on Ladies and Tangents. Shout out to Ladies and Tangents. If y'all ever want to do a crossover, oh my God, my old dreams would be made. I love y'all so much. But they had an episode on it. Check it out. It gives really good information. But they were talking about how, like, it's like a bunch of, like, I think this part was in Germany, maybe, or maybe it was Austria. No, I think it was Austria. But I don't know. But wherever it was that they were talking about this, men would, like, drink at the bars and dress up like Krampus and, like, run after the kids. Really? In town. If any kids were walking around, they'd chase them and scare them. And it's like all about scaring kids.
Chasing these children on holiday.
Yeah, because it says men dressed in devil costumes roam the streets carrying chains and a basket for abducting especially bad children and hauling them to hell.
Oh my God. the children you're scarring with Christmas.
I know. I'm laughing, but that's actually really messed up.
Really messed up. Oh, the kids are into it. Running the street for their lives.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I mean, that's one way to police people, I guess. Can you imagine, like, drunk Joe Blow, like, going around with a devil horn screaming at kids?
Right.
And we're like, yeah, this is normal. It's a celebration.
Not the local town drunk. look at him play with the kids.
I don't think you should be policing the children, son.
At all.
No.
Chase them through the streets, planning to abduct them is none of that.
None
of those things are okay.
Absolutely not.
But do people know? That was in what you say, Norway? Austria.
Do people know what?
Is by that point it's a tradition, so the kids know too. Like, oh, it's just Halloween is like, okay, yeah, it's all.
Yeah, it's just the local drunks are gonna run after you if you stay out about the town. I mean, that's one way to make sure your kids are inside early.
So is he the one that's actually giving out the code?
I think there's something with that. I can't remember. Check out Ladies and Tannen's episode for that. Actually, I am going to shout them out because I really, girls, I want to do a crossover. Let's speak that out. Everybody that listens to us, that also listens to them, please tag them in this video. Oh my gosh, they're so fun. So there is, and I had to look up where Catalonia is. It's actually in Spain. And this is my favorite tradition of all that I've seen. So the title is Pooping Their Way Through Christmas.
I'm so confused about that one. What?
Because they have like a defecating log, essentially. So locals in Catalonia, they create a character out of a log, drawing a face on it and giving it a hat. And they spend a fortnight feeding it fruits, nuts, and sweets. So on Christmas Eve, the entire family beats the logs with sticks and sings a traditional song that translates in English to, "If you don't crap well, I'll beat you with a stick." So my IBS, kings and queens, and royalty, you better not go to Catalonia on Christmas Eve, because you don't ever crap well if you have IBS and Crohn's and stuff. So, like, that's what I want to know. If you don't crap well, like, does everybody check it and see what it looks like?
Right.
Are we worried about smell?
Or is it just one of those, like, superstitious things, like, if you don't crap well, then you be backed up for the new year. You know what I mean? Something like, it's weird, you know?
Yeah, I want to know, who is the judge of your shit and how, like, what qualifies you getting beaten with the stick.
Right. Or you in there for too long. You've been in there 45 minutes. Ain't no way it's coming out good.
But they beat the log until it, like, it blows out all of its treats, essentially. So it's making the log shit, I guess. But yeah, so they also decorate their nativity scenes with small pooping ceramic. It's CAGANERS, but they're figurines.
Wait, so like the three wise men are like pooping? Like what?
Yeah. Usually well-known characters, often drawn from that year's news, have their pants around their ankles. So I guess they put around pooping figures around baby Jesus or something like that. Like, I mean, they are in a stable, so
the
it works.
Somebody was taking it.
Yeah. Chances are.
And they said push to Mary. They thought they was talking about.
Yeah, was it really frankincense or was it Franken's shit? Oh my god. That's my favorite thus far, for sure.
Funny.
It's so funny. And these logs look so cute. So, in Sweden, you'll love this giant goat. Yeah. So, the tradition was first mentioned in the 11th century as a man-sized goat figure that accompanied St. Nicholas. But now they have like a huge one that is in like town centers, and they just have like huge goat statues. This one looks like it's made of hay or something. But cities across Sweden construct Yule goats at the beginning of Advent every year, with the most famous being in Gavle. It's GA with the two cute little dots, and then VLE. A straw structure, reaching 40 feet. So
straw.
Yeah. And I was saying, unfortunately, though, it brings in a lot of people that want to make a bonfire out of it. And it's been destroyed 36 times
really?
Since 1966.
That's funny. They have the festival at the goat ceremony.
Yeah.
That'd be really dope, though. I mean, I feel like they might as well make it a thing, like a festival.
Anarchy.
Like, we go, we go hard for the holidays, and then we burn it down on the last day.
Yeah, honestly.
Listen, they have a great turnout. It's so crazy though talking about this goat, because it's like, okay, Santa had goats instead of reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
Just
and just one, I guess. I don't know. So in Guatemala, that's what this article is talking about, that cleanliness is next to godliness. So, and this is fair, that locals believe that the devil and other evil spirits live in like the dark, dirty corners of your house, which makes sense. Like, you have spider webs like all over the place at Halloween that are also representative of like the creepiness and dirtiness. And yeah, like, I mean, something nasty is going to be attracted to something nasty. So I get it. So they spend the week before Christmas sweeping up, collecting trash, and piling everything in a huge heap outside. But then an effigy of the devil is placed on top, and everything is like set on fire.
Which is the worst place. I thought it's the worst thing you're supposed to do with trash, though. Set it on fire.
I know. I'm like, what are you breathing
right.
in? I really want to know.
But I get it. You know what I'm saying? Burn the devil with trash, yeah. But can't be great for the ozone. I'm sure. No. Can't be.
It's called La Quema del Diablo, which is the burning of the devil. So, yeah, they'll burn all the previous year and start new from the ashes. And speaking of, like, spider webs and stuff, in Ukraine, they deck the halls with spider webs. So, like, in addition to tinsel and lights and everything, Ukrainians like to throw an artificial spider and web on the tree as well, because the tradition tells of an old poor woman who couldn't afford to decorate her tree and woke up on Christmas morning to discover a spider had covered it in a glorious sparkling web. Wow. That's so cute. And like, it's about good luck. It's not like the dirtiness of like the Guatemalan holiday where they're like that. They would see that spider web as a bad thing, but in Ukraine, that is actually a good luck. So spider was it Charlotte's Web a bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Charlotte did do a good job. I tell you what.
She did.
When you really look at spider webs, they're really gorgeous.
They really are.
And they're all unique. They're like snowflakes in that fact.
I do marvel at them often. Especially when I say the ones that are really, really good, not the ones that kind of look like dust from like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I took some artistry. Yeah. It'd be really nice. And sometimes, like, depending on where they are, too, like, how did you even get there? Like, how did you form that in that area?
And we're almost done with these lists, but so during Consota, the traditional Christmas feast in Portugal, families sometimes set extra plates at the dining table for deceased relatives. And it's thought that the practice will ensure good fortunes for the household. And in some areas, crumbs are left on the hearth as well. And yeah, so that's really sweet. But I also wonder how long they leave it there. Right. And like, do you let the animals come take it? Do you just keep it out that day and throw it away? Do you keep it out that day and put it in the fridge? I mean, I guess if you're offering, you wouldn't like put it in a leftover container. So
that ain't gonna take it and go with them.
Yeah, like what do you
take it back? Take it back with you when you leave.
Yeah. Do you keep it on the dining room table and then take it to like their grave, or these are the questions I have that I don't have answers to. Oh, and there's another thing where it's like Halloween and Christmas mixing together. So, in Italy, Santa's little helper is an old witch. Since they're unable to prove the existence of Santa, the Vatican decided to throw its weight behind something they'd had countless dealings with, which is an old witch called La Bufana, who delivers presents to kids in Italy. So the story goes that 3 wise men invited the witch to accompany them to see baby Jesus. She said she was too busy. And the legend was born. Like, I ain't got time for baby Jesus.
What's funny is the part we went with something that we have to do.
Hey, we both had alarms go off, so we had to record again. So what were you saying?
I was saying it's crazy that they said that they were going with something that they had to deal with all the time, which was like witches. It's like it was something that we deal with all the time. Like, first of all, where are you guys keeping these witches stored that y'all dealing with them on a
Well,
regular
apparently this witch in the article is perching on a house, so I guess they're just chilling on the houses.
That's so crazy, isn't it?
It looks really real. It looks like scary, low-key, but
so I'm
like, I ain't got time for Jesus.
I want to see more about that though, because it says like Santa's little helper is a witch, but it says that they kind of went with the witch and being able to disprove Santa being real.
Teddy, come here. Yeah, I definitely want to know more behind it.
Or does the witch?
No, it says she delivers the presents to kids.
Oh, okay.
In Italy. Even though she looks kind of scary, she is
it's
good.
so crazy too, because instead of like Santa being on a sleigh with reindeers, like she's perched with a broom, so she like breathing toys.
La Befana.
Riding on the broom.
Riding around. But she is not riding around in Norway. I tell you what. They did not want her riding around. They were hiding the brooms. She got to walk around in Norway.
Right. That's why I take her all year. She tired. That's hilarious.
Yeah. She flies just to the lines of where Norway starts. So in Czech Republic, this is really cute, I think. So on Christmas Eve, unmarried Czech women stand with their back to the door and toss one of their shoes over their shoulder. They catch them on the flippity flip, and if you know that reference, then yeah. If it lands with the toe facing the door, it means they will be married within 1 year. If it lands with the heel facing the door, they are in for another year of single town.
So they do the other shoe, give it to if they get married, they like give it to the house waiting for you. You know what I mean? I knew you were coming.
I do not want anyone's shoe. Ew. Okay. Speaking of how disgusting,
it's like a Czech Republic Cinderella story.
It is very cute. But they like, I mean, I guess they don't. I guess they do toss it outside, because this has a lot of them like hanging on a. It looks like a power line.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess. Man, I'd have to take the shoes I already want to get rid of. Right. I don't want to take my favorite shoes and throw them.
Your favorite shoes might bring in the husband.
Right. I'll take the shoes.
It might be like that's so funny. And I'm sure for like the women is the opposite. They probably be pissed.
Yeah, I want the heel to face the door. I do not want to be married with an door. Teddy doesn't either, apparently. So in Germany, this honestly,
this is really dope.
It's really cool, but I would never. I don't care if the entire country did it. I would never participate. Because, listen to this. So on the evening of December 5th in Germany, German children leave a boot or a shoe outside their bedroom door. And in the morning, if they've been good, then their shoes are filled with sweets. If they haven't, they'll get a branch. And like, okay, so this is where I would not participate. Unless I had shoes that are from the store I just bought, that are new, that I've never slipped my foot into. There's no way, even if the candy's wrapped, there's no way. I got my dad's sweat glands. I do not want food in my shoe. I'm sorry, Germany, but I'm not.
They got cookies in the shoe.
Yeah.
But I'll replace
this picture has like cookies unwrapped next to the shoe. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that is
true. Absolutely not.
You wake up, you're like, ooh, what we got?
I think it's cute though that they have a tradition that isn't like so based in consumerism.
But maybe they have like certain shoes, like how we have like stockings.
Yeah.
Maybe they have like
their Christmas
shoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, I would do something like that.
Right. Hopefully, like
but
that's
ain't no way I'm taking off one of my boots. And
if it's not a thing in Germany, you guys decide to start making Christmas shoes to sell. I really want to cut.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's like you got an idea.
Mm-hmm. And that's all we had for the first section of traditions around the world.
And listen, please comment like which one was the most interesting or which one you like the most as far as the traditions around the world. We love to know. Those are some really, really good ones though. And the ones that like say use all of this kind of like Halloween stuff, like witches and things is wild as far as celebrating Christmas. I wonder, do these other places celebrate at different times? Or does everybody universally celebrate?
Couldn't tell you. From what I found, it seemed to all be around the same time, except for those holidays we talked about in the last episode.
All right.
But I mean, I think like Christians internationally recognize the December 25th.
So it's more of a Christian recognized.
Most of these, not all of these, but most of them are. Yeah, I mean, this one's the world's weirdest Christmas traditions. That's what it's called. So, but yeah, while I'm looking up that, tell me about some of your Christmas traditions.
I can't even speak. Our Christmas traditions are typically very simple. Like I said, we have a very kind of small, intermediate family. So typically, when we're getting together, it's typically just us. We definitely, cook, whether, my grandmother cooks or sister cooks, kind of thing, combination of, so we definitely eat good. Similar to the same thing, like kind of Thanksgiving, in that regard. We don't really like do a lot of like the presents kind of thing. Traditionally, like, certain people in the family will, because they kind of, love it more. So, they're a little bit more gift giving or, not so much. But for us, it's not like a thing where it's expected for everybody to get gifts. It's necessary for everybody to get gifts. Typically, of course, we'll get like grandparents, the older folks in the family, try to get them something, if anything, or, we're good at, if one person got something, we'll let everybody kind of sign the card, or, we're good at saying, this came from, all of us, even though maybe one person got it, and so that's what we do. We eat, drink, be merry, love on one another, talk, laugh, joke, all the good things.
You play games?
No, we really don't. Like we really just kind of do our thing. We really just really laugh, and like I said, 'cause we're really small.
You share stories,
about
other holidays and growing up.
No, just kind of like again, it's almost like like a Thanksgiving part 2, really. We never really did especially like for a while growing up, my mom like sat us down and, had a conversation about like Santa Claus not being there. And for us, it's always been a thing because like my mom really like the Christmases and stuff we had were always like, good when we did have them. But we honestly didn't do Christmas like that. Mainly because, again, like it was her raising 3 of us. So we didn't do the presents and stuff all the time, right? Every year. So like now it's kind of one of the things where we don't necessarily even miss it because we, like so by the time like it came down to like, hey, Santa Claus isn't real, you know what I'm saying, kind of a thing.
Also, I meant to tell y'all, I'm sorry, we didn't mention this before. I don't know if anybody listens to this with kids, but this is not a podcast that you listen to with like your 5-year-old in the car. So there's your warning. I know it came after the fact of what we said, but it is, there you go.
Yeah. I was going to say that too. I was like, I don't know if anybody, I was thinking like maybe, but yeah, the kids are listening for sure. But, once we had, kind of that conversation, it kind of, dwindled a lot, because again, I mean, her situation changed, financial situation changed, so it really became, kind of instilling that like, hey, it's not about the gifts. It's not about, those material things. It's really about us, uniting ourselves with one another, loving on one another. And we really just kept that going. I think that's the biggest thing that's like lasted, like, despite the, the whole Christmas norm and all that, like, the biggest thing is just us really being together. And again, because we're getting so small, it's like, we're all we got. So, we're the gifts to each other, man. And it's always a good time. I love seeing them. We all kind of live different places. So, again, the past few years, just us getting together, like, because typically between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it is one of the 2 days where throughout the whole year where we may all actually be, together or all come home, to see one another. So so it's always a good time though, and like I said, and typically too, because we're small, sometimes if we decide to do Thanksgiving, then typically we're not going to actually do Christmas, and if we do decide to do Christmas, then typically we're not going to get together for Thanksgiving. So sometimes we interchange it, or sometimes it does work out when we do both. But
just to answer your question though, the 25th isn't, I mean, no, there's nowhere in the Bible or anywhere where it says like the exact birth of Jesus, anyways, but typically it's around that date. It's not always celebrated on that date around the world, but it's around that date usually. And in the Gregorian
and typically as well, like I said, for those times where we didn't do Christmas, so to speak, of course, typically, mom was always kind of either waiting on taxes, and that was something that she really would do. Where once she did kind of receive, taxes, she would, try to give us a few things that we did want. But like I said, I mean, I like the beauty in it because it really, to me, I think that it definitely brought us closer. Like it really, like say even coming to kid, it was young when again, like Santa thing. So it kind of really instilled in us young kind of that idea, really of like what it's about us being together, about and that's really carried on, like even now that we're adults with it, and I do love that, because again, like in past episodes we talked about, last episode, the mental health episode. Again, if you haven't seen those, check them out. But we definitely talk about those stresses that come with having to give gifts and having to, and it really does alleviate that, like going, and it's not a thing, like if you do receive something, like again, people's situations are a little different in our family, so some people can still give and some people can't. But so if you do get something, of course, again, you do feel that appreciation. Oh, I was able to do something, or appreciate you, or whatever it is, like I said, my sister's of course the big in that, because she's the gifter in the family for sure. So typically it's always something, got something. I thought, what I mean, and I love her for it. She's really good at like, she's a really good gift giver. I give her that, like when I even ask her what you may want, it's like I saw something, figure you might like, I figure you would want it. They be like, it really took me one of people like, I did, what I mean, like, yeah, I could use that. Right? Right? Like she's really kind of good at that, like. So
yeah, one tradition that actually still stays is that so growing up, me and my sister always spent the night in my room. Before Christmas morning, like Christmas Eve, we'd go to sleep in there, and then sometimes we'd have like a bell that we rang when we were up to wake our parents up because we couldn't come out. Sometimes we would just open the door and be like, "We're up!" like blah blah blah. Because the way that the house was growing up, if we walked out of the room, we were automatically in the living room, is where all the presents were. My parents were on the other side of the house, so. And then, of course, I think a few times we snuck and did some, kid shit, and pretended like we didn't see anything. But, yeah, so we always did that. But one thing that we did every Christmas Eve is that we got to open one present. And the one present that we got to open was always pajamas that we slept in that night to wake up the next morning in. And that was always really fun.
Really dope.
Yeah, and my mom, that is one tradition that has stayed the same my entire life, is that I always get new pajamas on pajamas, or like there's been a couple times where I got like a onesie pajama thing, or I got some slippers instead, or a robe or something, but it's always something that I can sleep in, that I can lounge in to wear the next day.
That's so cool.
And so now that I'm an adult, I celebrate Christmas Eve with my mom, and the next day I'll still see her at Christmas with some other family, but I always celebrate with her that day and do the
so
pajamas. Yeah. And I love that, and I want to pass that on to my kids, because that was always something to really look forward to. And sometimes they were Christmas pajamas, sometimes they were regular pajamas, sometimes they were like thick, sometimes there were shorts, like, it just depended. We tried, like, I know she tried to get different ones that we didn't have the next year, so we weren't just around with like wool pajamas all year long, but that was really cool. Growing up, we used to do with different sides of my family, because parts of my family are really big, and at one celebration we used to do an ornament swap where we did like a sneaky Santa but with ornaments. And I loved. People say kids don't care about ornaments, but I loved doing that. I loved it, and it was really cool.
I agree. I love the whole thing.
Yeah.
Going up decorating trees, seeing different trees. I mean, even still, I still have that, like, go to somebody's house and marvel at their tree a little bit. Even though I'm not like a big tree upper, especially because when I was growing up, they used me to put that tree up all the time.
I loved it. I did that with my dad.
No. Actually, again, that's my sister's thing.
It was just me and my dad.
She'd do it by herself, but before it was just like so laborious. Like you had to go, get it, then pack it. You had to, separate, because we had one of the trees that was like.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah.
And then it was like, and what used to get me was
fluff
really.
it. That's what we said. Fluff the tree.
What used to get me was having to be the person that detangled them lights. That's what
I did not like that part.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my hours, and what be dead, and I mean, all kind of things you have to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, who made this part of a thing? I do not no.
But figuring out where to put the ornaments was my favorite, and fluffing the tree. I actually did like fluffing the tree, but I didn't like the lights.
But I didn't like it because, of course, all the stuff, because I used to look at all that like it's more work. Like I got to do all this, and then stuff's gonna fall, so then I got to sweep this all up, and then.
That's how I've thought about it the last few years, but I actually decorated this year. I'm really glad I did. So it did a lot for me. Like, I was being all like, oh, now I have to spend time, like, decorating and then undecorating and unpacking. Like, that's so much time I'm taking. But then when I actually did it, I, like, put on a Christmas movie, had a little Prosecco celebration, and I had all my Christmas candles on, too. So the house smelled really good, and
the full Christmas spirit is coming through. Okay.
Yeah, and it really helped me, and it's really nice to look around and see things around.
They good.
Thanks.
And so I remember one Christmas.
And I got that tree when I was like 10 or something crazy. So.
And it's still holding up. I know y'all can see.
Well, that's why. Parts of it are broke down, but it used to look a lot better. But it's still moving and grooving.
Right. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Everyone, Christmas. I got up and there was nothing under the tree. And this year we was actually expecting something. Like it wasn't no conversations about y'all. You know what I mean? So we listened all. Y'all were trying to make a list. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, and we went and there was nothing. There was nothing. And so it was like, it's because they woke us up and everything. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like, you know what I mean? Like, they literally woke us up and everything. Time to get up. You know what I mean? Everybody get up. Okay, yeah, it's Christmas. Ooh, you know, we ready.
Yeah.
And we went up in that living room and it was nothing.
And nothing, no stockings or anything?
Nothing.
Like, for real?
For real.
Like, it wasn't a joke and then they brought something else?
No, like, it was nothing. And it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, go eat breakfast, you know what I'm saying? Go in the kitchen. And then, yes, it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Everything was in the kitchen.
Okay.
It was like, we made breakfast, though. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to do that to my kids one day because that's funny. Now, it would have been really sad, though, if there really was nothing, though.
Right.
Just because there was no warning. That's why we talk about expectations.
Right.
But if you wake me up for a Christmas morning...
And granted, if there was nothing there, I wouldn't even have told that story. I'm like,
yeah.
That was the day my childhood died. Haven't been at the same since.
I'm like, you didn't even get a candy cane? Like... Right? You could buy a 12-pack for $1.25. But, well, now then you could have bought a 24-pack for $1.
But it was really good because, I mean, they literally everything, everything was in the kitchen, which is so great. And it was cool, too, because I don't think that, and I don't know how they did it, where they had all this stuff hidden and stashed and stuff, but everything was kind of laid out, too, because I guess clearly in getting it all, they didn't have enough time to package it all, and that maybe had been the reason why they did. Like, yo, we got this stuff, got no time to box nothing, wrap nothing. What we gonna do? So I think that's what they did. And it was actually very clever, like on both parts. Like, okay, save us some time. We just put it all out, and then they just.
So none of it was wrapped. Right. Like, where was it in the kitchen? Like, you walked in and you immediately knew, or you were like, oh, I guess breakfast is our present.
Well, no, it's like because it was literally it was everything. So it was kind of sexy. So like. They had we had clothes and stuff, so maybe the table was like my brother, you know what I mean? So it was like, all this stuff is yours, and then, all this stuff is in the cabinet is like, so they
was like in the cabinet?
It was like, draped over them and, folded on them or stacked on them or, thrown over, like it was clothes, laid on the back of the chairs and, stuff like that. So it was literally like just, it was really dope at that point to really see, especially because you really was kind of thinking like, oh man, we didn't get anything, and then to just see everything like out, and it was just like all this stuff. And it was great. Lots of clothes. We used to get a lot of clothes more than anything. And like I said, and I think that again, like the thing I used to love about my mom a lot. You probably hear me say about a lot is because she was really real and upfront with us, and I feel like again, like people don't think that their kids would know, like. Try them. I say just try your kids and see, first before, because she really, would, tell us what's up. Like you said, make those expectations known. Okay, this would be a good one. This might not be, or even things like, not being modest enough to put things on layaway. You know what I mean? And we would go out. We would literally, go to those places like that had layaway and get kind of what we would want. That's what us picking out. Our Christmas, you know what I mean? And we would go and, get clothes and whoop, and listen, time of our life, feeling like we shopping. And it was beautiful, you know what I mean? Because it allowed her to, at the same time, to be able to get what we wanted, be able to put a little bit up, and then, of course, the stuff that she might have had to put back, of course, we ain't know about that part. You know what I mean? So, like, okay, stuff that she might have, put it back.
And that's the way to do it. You don't want to get yourself into debt and be struggling for the first half of the year because you wanted to get them an extra toy or two that in a few years they're not even going to care about. Maybe even less time than that they're not going to care about.
And she would do it, like, well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the week before, like, it was rushed. Like, she would really...
Kids are smarter than people give them credit for.
Maybe a month or so, we already... Pick it. We already have, and of course, like I say, knew most stuff. Of course, we picked, but then other stuff, like take some stuff and some surprises with, all the good things, So again, and I say that again, to talk about like you have to do Christmas that works for you. Like let it work for you and yours. Like you don't have to keep up with the Joneses and the stuff you see on TV, or I gotta, make sure they have all of this stuff that, like I said, really not gonna matter. It's really not gonna matter. Like, you know, if I
No.
can, you know, of course, there's a few things that I really wanted, or you know, that were kind of pivotal in my childhood that I remember, like toy wise or gift wise. But for the most part, half of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't remember everything I ever received, every piece of clothing. You know what I mean? Because some of that stuff, it just, you know. It doesn't matter, so.
It was for a moment, but the moment wasn't what I remember.
Especially like I said, kids. I remember specifically. You know, my mom used to make us like get rid of stuff a lot. You know what I mean? Like she used to tell us all the time, "You ain't touched it." You know, we have those moments, spring cleaning, whatever the case may be. You ain't touched it in a year. Get rid of it. And how much of that stuff didn't make it to the end of the year? Where we would toss it out of the trash because it broke, lost the battery. You know what I mean? All this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we kids. You know. We really don't care. We really don't.
Did y'all donate any of it?
Yeah, the stuff that was still good, we will.
Yeah.
You know, Salvation Army, because I don't know Salvation Army regardless. But so stuff that was good, you know, we had our pals, you know, trash pals and the Salvation Army pals. So we definitely would give a lot of it, But you know, but again, a lot of stuff where you're doing and going through, you know, our toy chest and stuff, looking at stuff like I said, that man, I ain't played this thing again.
Yeah.
You know, like so because she did that, like you ain't touched in a year. It was like, dang, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was bad the stuff you was actually looking for. I was looking for this one.
Well, it's been years.
Right. Nah, you keep to the
You were looking hard enough.
I was looking at that one. Get rid of that.
No, but one thing when I have kids that I want to do is I want to take them to the store and have them pick out a toy to donate.
Oh, that'd be great.
So then they get to participate in it. They get to give back. They get to get that feeling. And then from a young age, they're mindful of like being grateful for what you have and sharing the wealth with other people. Yes. Because like most people, you can afford at least a $5 gift for someone else. Mm-hmm. That's like just a few times, like that's honestly less than any coffee shop now, just for one coffee. Like you can take a break on something. You can adjust your life to figure out that $5. Mm-hmm. And if you do that a few times, if you do more than that, that's amazing. But if you give one thing, like just imagine if everybody in first world countries that can afford to give a $5 gift gave a $5 gift to people that, even in the first world countries or in other countries, like people that can, middle class and above, come on. Right. Let's pick out something, because if everybody did it, then there would be so much more joy given around. And that's the kind of gifts that, like those kids that don't get presents at all, or don't get many presents or anything, and they're going to school, comparing themselves, thinking that Santa doesn't like them as much as it likes the Joneses. Like, you know, they're internalizing that, and I don't want that to happen. Like, that's why I think in some way, as a society, we need to come to a consensus of, like, what we're going to say Santa does and what we're going to say comes from your parents. Right. Because then it just automatically, kids will think, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I wasn't good enough, so that's why I didn't get that. Right. But that family was way better than me, and they got bikes for Christmas, right. Like, you know. Right. So, yeah, but going back to
personally, I really think that we need to defunk the myth in regards to that anyway, because
I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Because there is some magic to it. Yeah. But it's also like, but then you find out your parents have been lying to you. So you're like,
right. Especially even in the idea, like, the overall creation of Santa Claus in a sense. I mean, granted, the history of him, you know what I mean? Like, is basically kind of based off of, I guess he's a real person.
St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas, right? He was a real person. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He was like a giver and more of like the spirit of what I think it should be, which is more about giving than receiving. And now I feel like we're all about receiving.
Right. And because at the end of the day, the ploy of Santa, for those who don't know historical facts, is that as far as the image that we see and the way that he's been presented was all based off of Coca-Cola. It was all advertisement. And so because prior, it wasn't like real Saint Nick as far as Christmas go. He did exist, but it was Coca-Cola who kind of, let's use this story, this history to really kind of
paint a picture.
Right. And it wasn't until they kind of put him in advertising that people really began to say, which was genius of them because they started out early and nobody before that really had like...
Marketing-wise, they've done some genius things. They really have.
It was so smart.
I mean, getting people addicted to cocaine, genius. If you don't know,
right. People like, what?
That's where Coca-Cola, the name comes from, because in the beginning it did have some...
And it was a medicine in the beginning, which is why I had...
Yeah, which is why they were allowed to.
Right. So before you think, like, it was just drinking it, no, it was used for medicine first, and then...
Yeah.
So, not condoning any drug use on this podcast.
No. And that was definitely a joke. Right. Please don't do cocaine. It's not worth it. It's not.
Right. Especially because, listen, that cocaine back in those...
And that's a different cocaine than now.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't have the...
That was more of
the penny in it, for sure. So,
that was more of the leaf, extraction than, like... A lab-made powder.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely is kind of, that imagery, of course, shaped kind of what we perceive him as, and kind of, even though, again, it's just not the case,
Yeah.
But again, there is some magic in that of the idea of, this guy comes down and gives presents and
flying reindeer.
But I do think there's some cross because I do think at the same time
but it's also really weird. It's also like really creepy. Like we're just gonna let a random stranger come into our homes, leave things while we're asleep. We have no idea he was there, and then all of a sudden there were things there.
Right. And I personally think that it does negate the hard work that the parents do in getting those gifts.
I agree.
Like you go most of your life really believe that somebody else is doing this, some magical being is doing this, versus your parents really making sacrifices, really, trying to give you what you know what I'm saying? Like,
and the threats are third party too. They're not like from your parents. They're like, oh, Santa's not going to get you anything this year because of that. Why do we work harder for a third-party random person to come into our homes than, like, our parents being like, I'm not going to get you presents if you keep on acting like this?
Because I feel like if they said that, I'd be more susceptible to actually behaving versus this person I've never seen. How they going to judge me about what I don't do and didn't do? He wasn't here. You know what I mean?
He won't see everything.
He won't see everything.
You're not going to tell him,
Even though they do say he see everything, he checking the list twice and the songs go. But no, I feel like that is... The Tooth Fairy, I can keep that. Santa Claus,
Yeah, the Tooth Fairy's cute, honestly.
Yeah,
because it's little, too. It's like a little fairy flying in here.
This big man coming down the chimney and look at where we lived, we ain't never had
And I want the challenge, honestly. Even though it's going to be scary, I want the challenge of trying to get the tooth from my child without waking them up and trying to put it under there. Right.
Even though I do like the idea, and I've always did as a kid, loving that whole, leave the milky cookies out, and then you wake up and oh my god, you really ate it!
Oh my god, I think about how we always left celery, carrots too. I'm like, my poor family was just eating raw celery and carrots. I wonder if they ever took them. I should ask them. What if they ever took them and put it back in our bag, of celery and carrots, in the fridge? And we're like, we're not eating that. We'll eat the cookies.
Right.
But we're not doing that.
Even though I do want to see what that feels like, because I never knew.
I know.
I never knew what the behind the scenes of preparing for Christmas for parents were.
I think I do. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I am going to still use Santa, but I'm going to make very few presents from Santa and make them cheaper presents. So then also it's not look what Santa got me, and it's a trampoline and the other kid got a teddy bear.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So then the kids aren't comparing that way. So it's small but still part of it, and then the rest will be from me, and then once they reach that age of wondering, then I might tell them. I feel like it might be better for me to tell them before they bring it to me. I don't know. I knew about it for years before I told my mom, because I thought once I told them, then Christmas was over.
Right.
And that I wouldn't get presents anymore.
Right. And we knew as well, because we were older, but again, we always had a younger sibling. So it was, of course, one of them things until it became a conversation where it was just an unspoken thing that we all knew. You know what I'm saying? It's only person we probably maybe was more concerned about was maybe my little sister at that time, whether or not she, process. But we definitely got that point.
I fought my sister's friends for years. Because my sister's 4 years older than me, and her friends were like walking around being like, he's not real. And I fought them. I was like, yes, he is. What are you talking about? You're not going to get any presents if you don't. And I think that was probably the year that I ended up creeping on my mom and finding her wrapping presents. Yeah, because it was like the door to their bedroom growing up, you could push on it and see in the bedroom. And I'm really glad I didn't see. I'm glad she was just wrapping presents, okay, and not wrapping anything else.
What's that song about Mama with Santa Claus? Mama kissing Santa Claus type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, wrap it up, but also not in front of your kids. But yeah, so you could push on her door, and she didn't know that we were looking, so we pushed on her door and was able to see through the crack that she was wrapping the same things from Santa, like that ended up being from Santa. But I don't know how we didn't realize before, because she used the same wrapping paper and the same handwriting for the presents from her and Santa, and we were like, makes sense.
I think we all did that. I saw you go buy that wrapping paper.
Yeah,
he had the same one like him.
It's the exact same one. She didn't even change it.
That's so funny.
And it was the same writing, the same tags, like.
He paid attention to none of that.
No.
None of that.
We were like, oh, he ate the cookies. He's real.
Right, especially because, like, you just tear through that thing so fast. Like, no time to really process it. We just gotta get it out of it. What's in it?
I saw my name, not who it's from. Most of the time, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the handwriting's fun. It's so crazy though. I'm thinking about all the handwriting too. That was definitely like never put these things together. Like
after I saw that, I was like, everything makes sense, and I noticed it all.
Yeah, right.
A couple of Christmases after, but I remember being in the car and telling my mom, and she still denied it. She still said that she believes in Santa Claus and that it's real. And it wasn't until years later. I know one time I got a confession out of her, but then she still was like, to this day, she still would be like, nope, Santa. I'm like, bring all the evidence, and she's like, you gotta believe. Like, no wonder I thought Christmas was over if I told her. She's still out here believing.
I'm showing you. Promise you. Like,
said the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all the year.
I
Okay.
love that. I love that so funny.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other traditions. I mean, I go to, like, there's other traditions of visiting my family, and now we have, like, a Christmas cracker tradition and my aunt and uncles, and this year we actually did the Christmas cracker because we celebrate with them early, and we did it, and it was actually a musical one where we all had whistles, and we had to play the songs with our whistles. It was we sounded so bad.
Really?
And it was like we were all hitting different notes and amount of like length of notes, but by the end we finally got one song that sounded okay. So we're keeping those whistles for next year, and we're gonna line up with our numbers because you had a number on the whistle that corresponded with the page. So we had to go in order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was more complicated than just like. Woo-woo.
Oh man, I should have recorded that. Would have been viral.
I know.
Oh, I should have recorded that.
I know. I really wish. I don't know if they would have let me post it, but I wish.
Yes,
maybe next year.
Yeah, right.
If you'd like to see it, comment below, and maybe next year. I did post something on my own page where we all look like we're smoking because we have the whistles in our mouths, smiling with it. It's so funny, right? Literally. Yeah. But yeah, besides that, I can't think of any other things besides decorating the tree and decorating. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to say from last episode before we end. So I talked about how there was something I wanted to talk about this episode. Check out the last one, blah, blah, blah. But we went around into so many neighborhoods looking for decorations. And these houses are blank.
I know. I've realized that too.
And
riding around and driving lately and looking for it. I can remember a kid that used to be a thing.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, going through neighborhoods and seeing lights, and it's like, And I wonder why this is it that people feel like it's just too much now to do? Is it?
Are they scared it's gonna get stolen?
Right? Does it cost too much?
Is it financial? I really want to know the reason.
I want to know why
because
it seems like a dying thing as far as lights go.
I would honestly rather my family, if it's my family and what the power that I have to do, I would rather say everybody spend less money on Christmas, on presents, on whatever for me, and spend more money on decorations. Right. Because it took us so many neighborhoods to find any houses. Even in the rich, we went to some rich neighborhoods looking. They were blank and they could afford it. So I don't know what's missing there. Right. I'm like, is it a spirit? Is it how society is? I mean, even with Halloween, people don't decorate like they used to. I'm like, these poor kids now are missing out because that was the magic of Christmas for me.
For real.
Was seeing all the decorations.
I used to do that to mom every year. At some point, you'd be random, you don't know when, but random time when we'd be out or headed home and we would stop and ride through neighborhoods. You know what I mean? It used to be amazing. You really did. You know what I mean? Really, really talk about jumpstart you in that Christmas spirit. And it's so crazy because the last few years, that Christmas spirit kind of idea has really been fleeting. It's been even by the time Christmas get, even though you prepare, it's just be Christmas is here. This is hey, it didn't even feel like, you know what I mean? It's it start to, last few years, I just been noticeable moments where it's dang, you don't even really feel like Christmas,
no.
You know? It doesn't.
Besides it being 70 degrees.
Right. And right, it's real weather be for real. But just that whole
No, the spirit is not there. It's the lack of kindness and also the focus on me, my presents, my list, making sure I get everything I want. And I think that the more that we focus on that, we really lose the meaning of really any holiday that's around December. They're most of them are very it's about giving, not receiving, and now we're so focused on ourselves. We just and it's also not even. It's also the sense of community is just so gone. Yeah. Because I walk around, I notice even myself, I walk around and I'm strangers don't look at me because of the fear of what the stranger's going to do. I went to a small town the other week. Everybody was saying hi to me. They didn't know me. Right. They were just saying hi. And in my head, I was like, what do you want? What are you trying to do to me? Right. And even the fact that that's where my brain is now, instead of being oh, hi, how are you? And talking back to them, because I would love to communicate with strangers again. I just get scared and on this defense. Right. Yeah. And we got to figure something out as a society.
We do.
Because the love is not there like it used to be. Then the fights are there.
Yeah, it's all about the me, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to get, whatever.
Yeah. I hope they give me this so I don't have to buy it after Christmas. Right. Yeah, when it's not on sale. Right. Yeah. But that's why we hope that y'all feel the love from us. Y'all see the love that we have for each other and for this crazy boy that likes to be real crazy. You really, if you watched YouTube today, you saw a show, and I hope it wasn't too distracting. Put it in the comments if he's more of a distraction than a help. So I've been wondering if we should just put him in the cage. But he has a huge cage now, so I don't feel guilty putting him in the cage anymore. But I still feel guilty. But not not as much. But yeah. Oh, and then one tradition I want to start doing is I got my nails done this year. I know you can't really see it, but they look cute. And I feel like the baddest bitch when I have my nails done. So I'm trying to make that my Christmas present to myself every year.
Yeah, absolutely. They look good. So festive.
Thank you. It wasn't supposed to be a present or this star. It's a star looking thing. It was supposed to be a tree. Then the tree just looked like a triangle, and
we're
yeah, then we went over. But now it looks really great. She did a great job.
Abstract trees.
Yeah, but not even abstract. it just didn't look like a tree. So we worked it out, and it looks great now. But oh my God, now he's calm. Now he's finally chilling, y'all, and we're about to go. This boy, I love him.
Always
keeps us on our toes.
Ready.
Oh, now he's ready to go crazy. Yeah, say bye, Ted. What traditions am I going to start with you? Well, I already started one tradition of buying him things for Christmas and giving it to him early.
So you have something for Christmas. Like, I got all your stuff already.
It's because he broke all his toys this month. I'm like, I guess I got to give them to you now. But I only gave him one toy for now, and then I have some ready. And I only opened I opened 2 bags of treats. But he'll still have something to open on Christmas. But what are y'all doing if you celebrate Christmas, what are you doing for Christmas? If you don't celebrate Christmas, but you celebrate a different holiday this month, what are you doing for it? What's the tradition you have for the holidays?
Yeah. And if you're not doing anything at all, put that in there too. Just hanging out, not doing much. You can still do different things. And
different things mean different things to be. Like, some people, like, that is a gift in itself is doing nothing.
Right. Ooh, I need some of them gifts myself.
Yeah.
One day I'm doing nothing.
I mean, yeah.
Need a couple of them.
I don't know when I'm going to get that gift, but hopefully. So, but whatever you're doing, just know that you have family here with us.
Absolutely.
And we love you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you so much to anybody that's listened.
Absolutely.
It means so much to us.
It do. Thank you guys so much. For sure.
If you like this episode, like any of our episodes, be sure to share them with a friend. Like, comment, subscribe.
All the good things. All the good things we want you to do, need you to do, please.
Yeah.
Because we want to continue to grow. We want to continue to grow our audience. We really want to continue to connect with you guys. We kind of think about all the time, what we think you guys want to hear. So definitely tell us what you want to hear. Can make our job a little easier rather than hunt and pick. But hopefully, all the times we picked so far, you guys, liked and you got something from or take away from. And so we're definitely going to continue to do that. Again, if there's anything you want to hear, you want us to talk about, topics, let us know.
And all I want for Christmas is for you to share our podcast.
Say that. That's the gift that can keep on giving.
Yes, exactly. We can become a bigger family. Because that's one thing that we want as a community within ourselves. Right. We want people in our community following us to be friends, to interconnect, to share ideas. Like, you don't have to just talk to us. You can talk to the whole community. Right.
Because we're looking for our shit talkers. That's what we're looking for. Yeah.
Come on,
get with it.
Join the Talking Shit team.
Talking Shit team.
And if anybody wants to join the team and be our trio, then come on over. You want to be a guest? Let us know.
Let us know. Talk to us. Yeah. All of those things.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
And okay.
All right, guys. All right,
love you. Bye.